Tributes have continued to pour in as Nigerians continue mourning former Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari, who died at the age of 82 at a London hospital in the United Kingdom. Arise correspondent Omar Bazuaye takes a look at the life and times of a soldier who later transformed into a democratic leader of Africa's most populous country.
It's our revenue sharing formula, especially the vertical aspect that relates to the tiers of government.
Sunset on Nigeria's former President Muhammadu Buhari, marking the end of an era characterized by service to a country he served, loved, and fought for. The passing of former President filtered in late Sunday, sending shockwaves across the length and breadth of the country. Buhari died in a clinic in London from an undisclosed ailment, drawing the curtains on the life and time of one of Nigeria's foremost political figures in the last 6 decades. As a soldier, Buhari has always been at the background of top military operations. He led the Nigerian troops to Chad when the Chadian troops invaded Nigeria during the regime of late President Shehu Shagari in April 1983. He was also at the forefront of battle during Nigeria's civil war that lasted 3 years, from 1967 to 1970. Buhari also served as military governor of Borno State under the regime of former military head of state Olusegun Obasanjo between February 3, 1976 and 5th of March 1976, and subsequently served as Federal Commissioner of Petroleum and Natural Resources between March 1976 and June 1978. Buhari's biggest stage as a soldier and perhaps most memorable moment for many Nigerians was the military coup on New Year's Eve on the 31st of December 1983 that announced him as head of state. The reign was short-lived as it lasted just 20 months. On August 27, 1985, as head of state, many Nigerians can easily remember Buhari's war against indiscipline and his ruthless, uncompromising stance against corruption, a public image and posture of integrity he maintained throughout his tenure as Nigeria's democratic leader and his lifetime. At the return of civil rule in 1999, Buhari joined active politics, taking his first shot at the presidency in 2003. Buhari made 3 more attempts before clinching victory in 2015, defeating the then sitting president Goodluck Jonathan under the platform of the All Progressive Congress APC. For 8 years, Buhari presided over a tough economic and political era, determined to fight state corruption to a standstill. In one of his popular quotes, Buhari said, quote, "If we don't kill corruption, corruption will kill us." Born on 17 December 1942 in Daura, the veteran soldier and astute politician died age 82. Omar Bazuaye, Arise News.
Joining us on the show now to discuss the life and times of former Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari is Dr. Sam Amadi, Arise News analyst. Good morning, Dr. Sam Amadi. Well, the country is mourning.
Thank you, Dr. Amadi. Thank you, and good morning.
So quickly, we've more or less said on this table that his legacy is mixed. But what do you think?
Well, I think it could be said that every person's legacy is mixed, but it depends then on the mixed, what constitutes that mixture. First, there's no doubt that maybe for more than 2 decades, he has raptured our, our mind, our emotion, this Baba Gaskia. So he had a legacy. His believers, his supporters, think he was perhaps the most Puritan of Nigerian leaders in terms of self-possession, self-dignity, discipline. And Nigeria is common to hear stories of expensive lifestyle, of grease, sleaze, and graft around Nigerian important political persons. But up until now, there are no such stories around. He lived simple. He lived provincial. I mean, provincial may be seen as a negative word, but in this sense, lived close to his province. The values of a provincial person who is happy with his environment, left power, didn't set up any NGO before he came the second time, didn't speak on any big conference, spoke to Hausa, BBC, and VOA. So a typical provincial person of dignity and honor. But the problem is when you leave the provincial and get to the widening landscape of multi-ethnic, multi-religious nation with complexes and social nuances, provincialism becomes a problem. And so his second coming as a president stretched him, and the verdict would be something close to he didn't quite get it done. So I think mixed legacy that we can always say somehow this was a man who, as upright as he was in physique, he was so in his discipline, his courage, unrelenting in the beliefs he had, even those beliefs that many of us could see as partisan, ethnic, ethnocentric. But he probably said what he meant more than most politicians. And oftentimes he's described as a man of integrity, but if you define integrity in a more normative sense of integration, then his second coming quite exposed that he probably wasn't that man of integrity as such, but probably a man of discipline and Puritan values. So I think, and of course, the man who convulsed northern Nigeria. Sorry, go ahead.
Just to buttress, some of the points that you're making. If you speak to various people at the moment, you get very different views and reactions to this loss. My question to you is, as we've already dissected, the pros and the cons of his leadership style and his various tenures, do you think history will be kind to him?
I think maybe I want to start with Winston Churchill, who said history will be kind to me because I intend to write it. Unfortunately, the president didn't write the history. I think not so much. It's going to unravel in history for two reasons. One, I think that we are in age of social media and narratives, and while he was alive, the narrative was very bad. And he didn't have opportunity like Jonathan, probably, who had to do some, narrative himself by getting the things he did. People, Jonathan left office perhaps demonized by a section of the country, perhaps liked by a section. But since he left office, he had had the good fortune of being involved in things that has repositioned himself. And then there was a Buhari who cast a more good glance, light, the spotlight changed because in contrast, people saw the difference. I think Buhari doesn't have that or didn't have that advantage that he has to do some things that contextualize some of the things people didn't know about him. But his lieutenants, we saw Gaga Bashir who come out even without a debt, and they're going to see some more people come out to say, this is the other side of this great man. But I think overall, that he started losing his stature. If he didn't win the election, he would have been a legend. Today we talk about Awolowo as the best president Nigeria ever had, because up until his death, that dignity and that great intellectual acuity was there. But now Buhari has unraveled. So my sense would be that he will diminish as we go down history, but remain this humorous, comical, nice, straight-talking, loved by that a small section of his friends and loyalists who saw perhaps that discipline that he had. But for the rest of us, his public record will be the reference point, and my prediction is that he might start to lose. But you never know. They say great presidents come decades after they have left. Who knows? But from the way I see it, I'm not seeing that magic happening.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Sam Amadi, for joining us on the morning show.